Hi, my name is Amanda Cangelosi, and today I'm going to be talking about the DSLR camera. So I wanted to talk about the importance of camera and lens care. It's important to note because it's often forgotten how fragile and not to mention expensive that lenses and cameras are. Treat your camera, and especially the lens, like a newborn baby. It's not a toy. Do not put your fingers on the lens glass, it makes the image blurry. Always put your lens cap on after you are done shooting, and never set the camera down on the lens. That should be obvious. And it absolutely needs to be cleaned, just ask Mr. Way. It's a privilege that we get to use these cameras and not a right, so make sure to treat them with respect. With that, let's get into the video. This is the Canon Rebel T5 DSLR camera. This is a pretty easy camera to use if you understand the setting. I want to start with taking you through the basic geography of the camera. This includes showing the focus, zoom, battery, SD card, and micro. Let's start on the lens. This is your zoom, and this is your focus. If you're not confident in your ability to judge if something is in focus or not, then set your focus to automatic. However, I would start to get comfortable with manual because your eyes are the only thing you can trust when it comes to filming. A good tip is to let autofocus initially focus on your shot, and then switch it to manual to make sure it doesn't focus on something completely irrelevant. Let's move from the lens to the body of the camera. I'm going to be talking about the battery and the SD card. The battery pack can be found on the bottom right of the camera. It says battery open, which is pretty obvious. Open it, stick the battery in, and close it back up. Just like that. The SD card is usually located on the right side of the camera. To open, press down and pull back the slide and pop it open. Stick the SD card, close it and push back in, and you're set to go. Finally, the microphone. The mic goes on the hot shoe located on top of the camera. It's the silver part. You slide the microphone in and make sure it's tight. Make sure to plug your mic into the spot that says mic. It's pretty obvious. Check to make sure throughout filming that it stays plugged in. Now let's talk about all the confusing buttons on the camera. The first and most important is the on and off switch and also the video camera switch. This may seem obvious, but to actually film a video, the camera must be switched to the video camera. This switch is located next to the exposure mode circle. This lets you get the proper exposure for your shot. There are a lot of options in this circle, but the ones that are most important to you are manual and automatic. Automatic is good to use at first to learn how a shot should be properly exposed, but ultimately you need to practice more with manual mode. I will get into manual mode later in the video. For now, this is all you need to know. Turn the knob to the mode you want and make sure the white line is on the line of your choice. Now to actually start recording, press the button with the tiny camera on it. Right here. You should see a red blinking light come from the bottom right triangle to know you're recording. To learn more about your camera and its settings, use the menu button and info. Finally, if you wish to view your video after filming, press the blue play button at the bottom of the camera. If you end up not liking the video, you can trash it. The blue trash can is used to delete a video, but I would recommend not trashing anything until you have uploaded your clips and watched them. To see more of your videos, use the left and right buttons in the circle here. This will allow you to look through all your video clips. Next is manual mode. I'm going to be talking about ISO and aperture. ISO is the camera sensitivity to light. The higher your ISO, the brighter your picture will be. The lower it is, the darker. I would set this before anything else to correctly expose your shot. This is also what controls an image's graininess. The higher the ISO, the more grain or noise you will get, as seen here. This grain can be avoided by simply lowering your ISO and using better lighting in your shot. The next important step is aperture. This will give you your depth of field. A larger stop number like 22 will make the lens have a smaller opening. This causes the image to have a wider depth of field, meaning more of the shot will be in focus, as seen here. This can be useful in a shot that includes many people or a landscape. In contrast, a smaller stop like f6 will make the lens have a bigger opening, which causes the image to have a smaller depth of field, meaning less will be in focus, like this. This can be important if you want to create a shot that emphasizes a specific item or person. This also affects the light. A smaller stop like f6 will let more light in because that has a wider opening, but f22 will have a smaller opening which lets little light in. Next, let's switch to filming mode. This is what's going to pop up on your screen. As I said before, you're going to want to start with your ISO. The ISO is the small box to the right. It actually says ISO. Click it and slide for your preferred number. Next, you're going to want to adjust your aperture. This is the first box to the left. Again, just click and slide to adjust.